This was the kind of ladder I'm talking about. Maybe this one's too big, but you get a ladder like this, maybe a little shorter. These two ladders here make a perfect bookcase. Now for a project like this, the perfect extension ladder would be one that's already broke or damaged or not safe. And I picked out one that's sort of bent up, dented a little bit. There's a big dent, and one side had a piece missing. And so this is going to make the perfect project. So as you can see, this extension ladder was just a bit too high to fit into the shipping container. So we had to modify it just a bit. Now, there's many steps here. You can make shelves. This could be a huge bookcase. If you're going to use wood across there, it has to be really, really strong oak wood if it's going to be a long distance across there, 6 foot. I'm using metal shelves. All right, so now we have to find the metal panels that will go across there to be the shelves. So we'll have to go scrounging for, who knows, we might get lucky. So we'll just look through all the junk. Now, granite or marble, probably not safe. The marble or granite would crack, so we're not going to be too heavy. So marble and granite, not a good choice. What we're looking for is a strong piece of metal or a really thick oak board. Lo and behold, we found the perfect shelves here. It pays to scrounge. And to make it fit, we just got to modify it just a little bit, just a hair. And of course, this is an extension ladder, so these little things come off. And they're pretty easy. All it is one little bolt, undo the nut. These come right out pretty easily. Do the same thing to the other side, the other one, and you're ready to make it into a bookcase. So as you saw, these metal panels have been sitting outside for over 5 or 6 years. They got a lot of dust and dirt and spider webs in there. Let's clean them up first. Clean them up a little bit. Just get the dust and the dirt off of them. Remember, this ladder here was one ladder. We just separated it and made it 2 different pieces. For this to work, for this type of bookcase to work, you're going to need something strong on this side and something strong on this side. Once you put the books on this bookcase, very strong, very stable. So this is going to lean. The ladder is going to lean against this bookcase. With all the books on there, it's strong enough. Same over here. This ladder is going to need support, and we're going to fill this up with books. But first, before we fill this up with books, we got to put the shelves on there. And the way we do that is we find our distance. That's going to be about the right distance here. The ladder has to come in a little bit, and the bookcase has to come in a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and rearrange, put our 3 shelves on there, and then we have another piece of shelf that goes over here, which you've already seen. So this is going to be very simple. No bolts, no screws, just lays on top of there, and the books are going to give it support. And also the bookcases on the left and the right are going to give it support. So we're getting there. This is going to be your support for all our shelves. We're going to go get the other piece here in a second. The good thing about this shelf, we can actually stack books here too on the floor. All we have to do is sweep this dirt out of here, and maybe you'd even lay down some paper. If you think this is too oily and dirty and greasy, just lay down something. And this will be the first shelf right here on the floor. Shelf 2, 3, 4. And later on we can put more, as we find more pieces, we can make more shelves. Let's go get our support. Not, this is actually the support. Let's go get the shelf that's going to sit on top of here. Got the first one on. Actually, to put these in there, you have to move your bookcase back a little bit. To slip them in there. Show you what I mean. To be able to get them in there, you have to slip this in a little farther. So when the bookcase is back, it makes it easier to push it in. This sits right on top of here. No bolts. Now all we have to do is put the third one on. We're almost there. Make sure it's all flush. Your ladder is flush up against it. This is supporting it. The weight of this bookcase is supporting it, so the ladder has to be flush. Your shelves have to be flush up against there. You're flush. Flush there. Same thing over here. They're flush. Your ladder too. You see the space there? Straighten your ladder up. Make sure your ladder is flush. Now when this bookcase has books on it, it's going to be the heavy weight that keeps it steady. Now there you have it. That's going to be a seriously big, long bookcase. It's all made of metal. We've got double support here. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to hold up. So we'll go ahead and put the books in here, and then we'll put some books in there and try it out. Well, let's go take a look and see what we've done. We've been very creative in bookcases, haven't we? I'll be honest with you. I have not bought a bookcase. Since I started this project, I have not bought a bookcase. I had these ones laying around too. We did the dresser drawers, old metal shelves laying around. We can use those, and this is the one we just did. We made a long ladder, cut it down into two pieces. We didn't cut it, it just came apart by itself. And as you can see, it's a pretty strong bookcase. I mean, look at all these books you can put on here. 50 million fans cannot be wrong. You better believe it. You better believe. Thank you very much. The rise and fall of the Atlantean civilization. You've heard of people say, "Oh, that's so gaudy." Yeah, that's so gaudy. Where did that word come from? His name is Antonio Gotti, and he's one of the greatest Italian artists that ever lived. He's an architect, and his stuff was supposed to be gaudy. It's gaudy. So when people are wearing too much jewelry and all that sort of stuff, what they're referring to is the architect Antonio Gotti. Okay, Bob Dylan poster. Everybody has a Lee Reynolds painting, but they're not really by Lee Reynolds. If you really want a Lee Reynolds painting, the signature has to look like that. That's what the real Lee Reynolds signature looks like. Might be a little dark in here, can't see it. So we've got a few more books to put in bookcases. And remember, the key to building a bookcase with the ladder, two pieces of ladder, is you need a lot of weight on the left side, a lot of weight here, and a lot of weight on the right side. This makes it very stable. I mean, it's not going anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go to. There's nowhere for it. Once the books are on there, there's nowhere for it to go to. Somehow I've collected quite a few yearbooks. If you ever come across the Buddy Holly yearbook, Buddy Holly, I think, where is he from? Lubbock, Texas? You see, Buddy Holly died early, and he never signed very much stuff. But he did sign quite a few yearbooks, and those yearbooks can go for $10,000, $20,000. I'll leave you with that. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So what do they cost? The bookcases at Walmart. I think you go in and get one of those cheap bookcases. They cost close to $100. Well, we're going to be a little smarter than that. Instead of giving Walmart and China $100, your neighbor is throwing away an old dresser drawer set and a piece of metal too. You never throw away metal. Somebody wants to throw away metal, you pick it up. But back to the old dresser drawers here. The neighbor didn't want them. Nobody wants them. So we're going to turn it into a bookcase. I'm going to show you how to turn this junk into a bookcase. So here we are. We're going to turn those shelves. That's an old dresser drawer. They're not really shelves. They're like old dresser drawers over there. We're going to turn it into a bookcase. As you can see, I've got quite a few books and they need to be put in bookcases. So we're going to have to get creative. We're going to need a screwdriver, Phillips. We're going to need a few of these small screws. The first thing we do you do is take the hinges off, or the handle. Very simple. Just loosen them up. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the handles off of all those shelves over there. Take the handle off. Let's see if we can't make this into a bookcase. So we have all the handles off. Save these things. Believe it or not, these suckers go for a couple bucks at Home Depot. Save them. Got the handles off. Sometimes with this new furniture, you're not going to have the problem with the old furniture. But with the new furniture, sometimes the glue comes loose. These are just glued together. We can put this on the top piece. So if you have one that's a little loose here, just use that as a top shelf. Or all you have to do is put a couple penny nails in there. Drive a nail here, drive a little penny nail here, little tiny nail here. So here's what it's going to look like. We're going to put the screws. Now this one sits out a tiny bit farther than this one. And so forth and so forth. So you want to give it, you want to make it look like it's leaning towards the wall a little bit. Instead of having them directly on top of each other, just put each shelf. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So we're going to start with this shelf. And see, if it was completely against the wall, it'd be there. But pull it out a little bit. Pull it out a little hair, just a hair. And then this one, you pull out just a little less until you get to the top, and the top one will be up against the wall here. Give it leverage towards the wall, if you know what I'm talking about. And also it's going to help, we're going to put a screw here, a screw here. So when you drive a screw here, it's going to go through this top part here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple screws in to give it stability. And so when I put that one on, the screws will go through here. And then the one that's a little loose, we'll put it on the top. So what do you think? Well, let's finish it up before you make any opinions. So I don't think we're going to need 4 screws. I think 2 will do the job. So you just go ahead and screw them in. Flat enough with the books, so won't be in the way of the books. Remember, the books will sit right here. It's nice, your hole's already there. You're using, this is where the handle was. Your hole's already there. You don't even have to drill a little hole. Make sure it's flat. Now we're just going to do that to every shelf going up. This gives it more stability. I'll see you when it's done. Well, we're all done. And believe it or not, it looks like a bookcase. Now remember, I'm dealing with a metal wall here, but you see how the bottom ones are a little farther out, staggered. Just to, so because I have a metal wall, I had to stagger them a little bit. And you probably should too. But when you're at home and you have a drywall or a wood wall, you can actually put a couple screws into the back, into your wall, to give it more stability. But I staggered it, I think it's going to be, I staggered them out a little bit to make the bottom more stable as you go up. I mean, come on. It's not a bad looking bookcase for free, isn't it? But I was thinking this would be perfect for paperbacks. Let's see what else we got here. I even got some smaller books I can put in here. Look at that. Sci-fi. So I mean, we got all kind of books in here. We got Asian, mostly art books. Got any type of book you want to think of. Now, how cool is that? This is just one idea, of course. I don't think we got 1, 2, 3. We got 5 drawers here. I don't think it's safe to go 6. I actually had 1 extra drawer. And remember, if this is loose here, it doesn't matter because it's the top one. Really nice. Now, there's other ways of making bookcases. I think I've showed you the ladder. I've showed you how to make a ladder one time. But also, believe it or not, this is not a bookcase. This goes over top of the toilet. This is a shelf that sits over the toilet. I added 2 more shelves. I added 2 more shelves to it and made this a bookcase. This is another contraption I had laying around out in the yard. It's just a metal, looks like a flower pot holder, All you have to do is put the wood piece that goes on a bookshelf. You can find these in the garbage too. So you find some old wood pieces and you just take it across here, and now you've got pieces that could hold flower pots turned into bookcases. Even the old metal shelves can be bookcases. I'll close out with that. But hey, this is a wonderful bookcase. And the best part about it, it's free. So I'm going to show you how you can put a wire between these loops and hang a chandelier or a light, or in our case we're going to hang a disco light. I thought it would be cool. 1970s. See, as you can tell, we scrounged all this material up. So first of all, we're going to hang the wire across. Now you could use something like this and take a pair of pliers, and if you cut it with the bolt cutters and then use pliers and bend it, this would be strong enough to go across there. And we might do that later. You could even go something like that. I mean, we're talking about scrounged up materials here. You could even use something like this, but that's going to be a little bit too difficult for now. I actually found this thing laying around. I think we're going to use this, but we're going to put it across the loop, from loop to loop, and it's going to be hanging in the middle of the shipping container. And we're going to go ahead and put the disco light on there. So let's get started. This end here won't go through there, so we're going to take the small end and take the small end and go through here. Now remember, you can use any wire you like. The idea is to find cheap wire that somebody's thrown away and you scrounge. This is how you're going to survive the coming collapse of the dollar. As the Chinese Empire takes over, learning these skills are going to teach you how to learn how to survive. Now I was going to put a bolt on here, a bolt to make it go, but look, that's not going through there, so we don't have to put a bolt on that end. Now we're just going to put this end over to that loop. All we do is take this end, put it through that loop, and we're going to use a bolt in one of these. Okay, let's do it. Okay, as you can see, we've got the cable hanging across there. It's a little long. Our cable's a little long, so what we're going to do is send it over here, loop it through this one. But first, what we want to do is loop it through here twice before we go over that end. Okay. We have the cable going across. We've looped the wire through there. Since it's a little long. Now, if you were using just any wire, you could tie it here, tie a knot in here. You tie a knot over there, tie a knot here. But this cable's a little longer. We're gonna stretch it over to this side. Loop it in there. Almost. Loop it. There you go. Get through there. A tight squeeze. Okay. Tight squeeze. Now, perfect. This is where this thing comes into handy. Now we're going to put this in there to prevent it from coming out. Okay, so all we did was put the bolt through the loop. Put the bolt through there. Put this little thing on there. Doesn't even really have to be tight. The reason why this is on here, I'll show you in a second. Once you get that on there, see this thing's not coming through. This wire could slip through your shipping container loop. This wire is small, but the wire has a hole on it. You put the bolt on there. This thing is not coming through the loop. It's too big. So it's just a safety precaution. Again, if you were using another type of wire, you just tie a knot here. We made it work. Now we're going to hang our disco light on there. So we're ready to hang it. Found a little wire here off a old frame that was laying around. You know, the old frames, picture frames have these wires on them. Or you can even use this little spring. This is not going to be as safe because it's got a smaller loop on it. But let's go ahead and try this spring first. It's not very heavy. We'll use the spring temporarily because it just will slip on there real easily. And then later on, I'll use the wire. Let's see if I'm tall enough. Oh, there we go. So you can temporarily use even a little spring. I recommend you use wire permanently. So there it is. How to hang your disco light.